Welcome to the Vital Force Sexual Mastery course. My name is Jakob Kaergaard. I work as a men's coach, and in this course I'll be teaching you how to master your sexual energy as a man. And what does that actually mean? It means at least three things. First of all, it means that you will be able, when you learn this very quickly, to last for as long as you want in bed. This is kind of nice. It means that issues like premature ejaculation and erectile dysfunction, like not being able to have an erection when you want to, that those will be history normally very quickly. Secondly, it means that you'll learn to separate your orgasm and your ejaculation, meaning that you can have multiple orgasms as a man without ejaculating, and they can even become way stronger than the normal kind of orgasm you know. And this is, of course, makes sex a completely different story. It means that you will experience it much more intensely. You'll experience way more energy. And you can also, with this kind of energy and these new sensations, you can also trigger new sensations and orgasms in your partner. So it can become way more intense for both of you. Now, third, you will also be able, after a while, to kind of direct this surplus sexual energy that you will feel, direct that into other areas of your life. And that could be your work, it could be a hobby you may have, it could be your relationship, your connection with your children, whatever, but you will feel after a while a change. You'll feel you have more energy at your disposal in general that you can then use for something else. Now, this may sound pretty great, and you may think, well, how can it be that one practice can work all these wonders, can work on all these things? And I'd like to explain that to you by telling you the story of how I got into this. And briefly, it started when I was 23. I got a girlfriend who pulled me into the yogic tantric environment in Copenhagen and Denmark, where I am at the moment. And they told about all these things that you could learn, all the things that I just told you. And I was like, well, sounds great, but I was, of course, skeptical. But we did a lot of practices together, my then girlfriend and I. And after a while, I did experience some pretty amazing things. First of all, I experienced that it gave me some more energy. There were also some challenges in the beginning that I overcame with using specific techniques, and that I'll also teach you how to do. But I experienced extra energy. I felt that when I was doing my thing, when I was working, when I was out in the world, it was like I had a bit more, I felt stronger. Also psychologically, I had more energy with me. I felt more resilient in a way. So that I noticed quite quickly. And quite quickly also, I learned to separate the orgasm and ejaculation and actually have that first orgasm without ejaculating. Then it went on, and after some time again, I had my first whole body orgasm, where literally you feel an orgasm in your entire body, which is pretty wild. And several years later, I had the experience that made me start teaching this. And this was really like, yeah, I can only say a transcendent experience where an orgasm kind of took me out of my body to a place of just being warm, forceful, happy, free-floating consciousness. I know it may sound pretty wild, but that's how it felt. And when I came back from there, I had that with me and still feel it to this day. And it was after that that I thought, wow, this is too amazing to not be shared. I have to do that. I have to share it. So it took some time, still took some years, but then I came to the point where I was like, now I want to do it. I want to teach this. And I looked around, and there were several things being taught for women on this issue, and some things for couples also, but virtually nothing for men. And this is a little difficult in the beginning for a man. So I thought, hey, someone needs to teach a detailed, specific, easy to follow approach for guys on this. And that's what I started doing. So I created the Vital Force Sexual Mastery course. And it became quite quickly quite popular in Denmark. I got quite some media attention. So many people came, And what I focused on at the beginning was teaching people how to separate the orgasm and the ejaculation, because that for me was the main thing, and that's what gave me those amazing experiences. And then I taught that, and people got it, and they was like, yeah, it's amazing. But then they also came and told me, hey, by the way, Jacob, I last so much longer in bed, or my erection is so much harder, or I feel another spark in my relationship again, which maybe was gone for years. Or I feel so inspired with my work, I feel so creative and productive. And then I asked myself, hey, is it actually true what the ancient Taoists realized and said, that sexual energy is really the core energy, the core fuel of our bodies, of our being, and that once we enhance that and learn to use it consciously, learn to direct it in our bodies with our minds, then we will experience having more energy in all of these other areas of life. Is it really so? And I have to say, yes, I believe that's how it is. There are also some scientific explanations that suggest also what happens in the body once you start doing this. We'll go into those more in the course. But really, I do see sexual energy as the key core energy of our bodies. And when we learn to use that consciously, it works wonders. So I created the course, and what I focused on in creating the course was to make it as concise, short, and easy to follow as possible. Because if you consult the traditions, if you consult various books on the subject, you can find tons of practices and tons of techniques, and they all work. But it's like, where do you start? I mean, many people drown a bit in this, and I had the time at an early stage in my life to test it all out. But I don't want you to go through that. I want you to take the more straight road. And that means that I really took the most essential techniques that you need and created the course out of those. And that became the Vital Force Sexual Mastery course. And in short, there are three main kind of techniques that you will be taken through. There are some exercises for the muscles in the pelvic floor. There is what I call the self-cultivation practice, which is a particular way to masturbate consciously that I will explain to you more in detail. And there are a few yoga exercises that are powerful yoga exercises that are key to lift this extra energy up through your body, and they also help you connect the sexual area of your body with the rest of your body. And that's very much the problem for us guys, that we tend to have our sexuality in the area around our penis and in our heads, but it's not really connected with the rest of the body. And that's what often results in problems like, for instance, premature ejaculation, because when you then get sexually aroused, you build up the energy down in the sexual area, but it doesn't really move away again. It doesn't really spread out in the rest of the body. And then quite quickly, that energy reaches the climax and triggers the ejaculation impulses in the muscles down there. And then you come. But if you can connect your sexuality really with the rest of your body and start feeling arousal and desire in the whole of your body, well, then that doesn't happen. Then you can contain way more desire, way more sexual energy. And that's really when you begin to feel the benefits. So the yoga does that for you, so it's also very important. And for the rest of the course, it's separated in 3 weeks. The first week, you will be practicing these techniques very much in detail with yourself on your own. Then in week number 2, when you most likely begin to feel an increased energy, you begin to feel your body in a new way, the theme for week number 2 is how can you use this now accumulated sexual energy and desire to flirt with your partner again, which perhaps you didn't do for many years. And that could be one of the reasons why the sexual spark kind of diminished over time. And it's not uncommon when people get to week number 2 and even 3 that they come to me and they say, hey, Jacob, I feel in love with my partner again, even though we've been married for 10 or 20 or 30 years. And working with the sexual energy in this way really does that. I mean, it can really rekindle the flame, the spark in a relationship again. So this is the theme for week number 2. And you can, of course, also flirt with other women if you're single. Now, week number 3 is where we go into the last theme, which is how can you master your sexual energy with your woman while you're making love. And in this week, of course, I'm going to take you specifically through the techniques to help you do that. And there's also a video where I will speak about sexual alchemy, which is what are the principles that has to be present for you to experience the more transcendent experiences that I had, and which originally motivated me to teach this course. So those are the themes, and I really, really, really urge you to take this course and get started. You know, you can also read a book about it. You can ask your friends if they have some experiences. It's fine, you know, but just do it. Whether you do it with this approach or you do it somewhere else, do it. Because mastering your sexual energy is, in my opinion, really something we should learn in ground school. And I'm actually not even kidding, I mean it. I think it's as vital a skill as knowing how to read and write, you know, or drive a car. If you can't read and write and you can't drive a car, you can live your life anyway, but there'll just be many things that you can't do. And this is just the same. If you know how to master your sexual energy, to enhance it and direct it in your body and channel it into other areas of your life, you will experience amazing things, and things that you won't experience otherwise. And can really like improve your quality of life, your relationship, your sexual satisfaction, and a last important point, also your sexual health. And this is key for me also to mention here at the end, because, you know, I get guys that come to me that are like 70 or 80 years old sometimes, where their sex life has just like died completely. You know, maybe they even had an operation in their sexual organs or something, and they're like, you know, Jacob, can you help me, you know? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I can help you, and I get them started, and I do see improvement over time, but of course it takes longer once they get to that stage. So the reason why I mention this is that I really urge you to take care of your sexual health, and you do that with these techniques. Take care of it while you still can, because doing these techniques and doing these practices will really keep that machinery, the sexual machinery of your body, warm and alive and active, and that is the best way to keep it healthy. So this practice is also about sexual health, and actually the ancient Taoist masters who did this were also doctors, and they used these techniques for longevity, and they were known to be healthy and virile, like up in a very old age. So get started, get in there and get started. I really urge you to do these techniques, learn them, do them, and get a grip of your sexual health and of mastering your sexual energy in this way. You won't regret it. It's gonna benefit you in the whole rest of your life. And the way I designed the course is that once you get started and you do the exercises and you get some experiences, then in the following weeks, I speak into the experiences that you might have had in the past week. And I've had hundreds and hundreds of men through my courses now, so I'd say I know virtually anything that could happen to you, and I speak into that. So in other words, I'm gonna take you in the hand and carry you through the process. So really get started. And another opportunity, I mean, you can of course take the online course here, you can get started now, do the thing. That's great, it just requires your discipline, that you get started and you actually do the techniques. But there is also another opportunity, which is to combine the online course with one of the physical courses led by me and some of my assistants, where we are really gonna go in super detailed with all the techniques and take all the questions that you guys might have had from doing these practices. So you get started with the online course, you get your experiences, and then you come on the physical course, and then we really go deep. So you can see the dates for that here on the website. I really recommend that if you have the opportunity to join us in one of the physical courses. And one of the things that I also see on the physical courses is that, you know, this is an area of life that we rarely speak about. The sexual area and the relationship area. We rarely speak about that as guys. And when we do, it's mostly bragging, you know, well, I fucked her for so and so long and da 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 da. And really just talking down in the depth of things and in the details, technically and with full honesty. I mean, so many men have never done that with anyone. And that means that the whole sexual area of our lives are in darkness for most people. And sitting in a men's group where everyone has, you know, the same starting point, everyone did the same techniques, everyone took this course because they were motivated to do something about their sex lives. And the rest of their lives following that is just amazing, you know, and to hear each other's stories and realize, you know, gosh, I'm not alone. Other people are facing the same issues or difficulties or different ones, but I can relate to it somehow. It's mind-blowing for people. And really, actually, what I hear from people is that that's one of the most amazing things that they get out of the physical courses, to really hear and share and hear what did the other guys experience from doing the techniques. So if you can, really come join me on one of the physical courses. I love teaching them. I love to create this space where guys can open up in this way and share about these things. I think it's incredibly meaningful. So other than that, there's just to say, get inside. I look forward to take you through the hand. And if you have any questions, you can always write me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I look forward to taking you through the process.